Night shifts teach you how to move through a hospital without fully waking it up. You learn which corridors echo, which lights hum louder than others, and which doors should never be slammed. You learn to keep your voice low, not because anyone tells you to, but because the building feels like it's listening. That night was already long before the call came in. Another unit was missing a medication. Not an emergency, just one of those quiet problems that still needs fixing. The kind that gets passed along because it's easier than reordering and waiting. I volunteered to grab it, mostly because I needed to stretch my legs. The Lamson room was 2 floors down, past a corridor most people avoided at night. The air there always felt cooler, like it never quite caught up to the rest of the hospital. I remember thinking, absently, that the place smelled faintly of disinfectant and something older underneath. I collected the medication, double-checked the label, and headed back toward the lifts. That's when I saw her. She was sitting on one of the waiting chairs near the elevator bank, shoulders hunched, face in her hands. She wasn't sobbing loudly, just crying the way people do when they don't want attention, but can't hold it in anymore. I slowed instinctively. You don't ignore that in a hospital, even off your own ward, especially at night. I asked if she was okay. She looked up quickly, startled, like she hadn't expected anyone to notice. Her eyes were red, but her expression softened when she saw my uniform. "I'm sorry," she said immediately. "I didn't mean to be here." That sentence stuck with me. I told her it was okay, that she didn't have to apologise. The nights in hospitals are hard, even if you're just visiting. She nodded, wiping her face. She said she was waiting for someone. She didn't specify who. I sat a few seats away, not too close. Close enough to be present, not close enough to feel invasive. She talked, not in a rush. Just small things at first. That she hated hospitals, that she felt silly crying in public, that she hadn't expected things to turn out the way they did. I listened. That's the job, really. Sometimes more than meds or charts. At some point, she laughed. A small surprise laugh, like she hadn't expected to feel lighter. She thanked me for staying, said it helped more than she thought it would. Her mood changed gradually. The crying stopped. Her shoulders relaxed. She even joked about how she probably looked ridiculous. I told her she didn't. She smiled at that. She asked me my name. I gave it. She gave me hers. It was an ordinary name. Nothing that would stand out later. That's important. When the lift arrived, she stood up with me. We stepped inside together. She hesitated before the doors closed. "Do you mind if I add you on social media?" she asked. "I don't usually do that, but tonight feels strange." I remember pausing. It wasn't inappropriate. It wasn't unusual anymore. People connect that way, especially after moments like that. Shared, intense, brief. I said yes. She typed her name into my phone herself, sent the request, and handed it back. "Thank you," she said again, "for treating me like a person." The doors opened on my floor. I stepped out. She stayed inside. We waved, and the doors closed between us. That should have been the end of it. I took 3 steps down the corridor before the second lift arrived. The doors opened, and a wardie was pushing a trolley out. The body was fully covered. Standard procedure. Clean sheets. Nothing visible except the shape underneath and the clipboard attached to the side. I slowed automatically, making space. As the trolley passed, my eyes caught the sticker on the clipboard. Patient name, date of birth, time. The name was the same as hers, exactly the same. I stopped walking. I told myself immediately that it was coincidence. Hospitals are full of names, full of people, full of overlap. My brain was tired. It was making connections where there were none. ask questions. You don't. Not like that. I went back to my unit with the medication, completed the handover, and tried to focus on the rest of the shift. Vitals, notes, the quiet work that fills the hours until morning. But my mind kept returning to the sticker, the timing, the name, and the fact that the woman I spoke to had said she was waiting for someone. Near the end of the shift, when things finally slowed, I took my phone out. The friend request was there. Same name, same profile photo. I opened it. The account was real, years old. Photos with friends, family, smiling, alive. Then I scrolled. A post from a week earlier. A photo taken in a hospital room. Captioned with something optimistic. Still here, still fighting. Comments underneath. Support, love, prayers. Then another post, 3 days old. No photo, just text. Update. She's stable, but things change quickly tonight. And then, the last post, time-stamped just over an hour ago. We're heartbroken to say she passed peacefully a short while ago. Thank you to everyone who supported her. My hands went cold. I checked the time. It lined up. I stared at the screen, waiting for something to correct itself. For a comment saying this was a mistake. For another post clarifying it was someone else. Nothing changed. I closed the app and opened it again. Still there. I told myself, again, that grief posts can be delayed, that families write things later, that I was connecting moments that didn't belong together. But I couldn't stop thinking about her expression, the way she'd calmed down, the way she'd thanked me, the way she'd said she didn't mean to be there. I didn't sleep much after that shift. In the days that followed, I checked the profile again. No new posts, no activity. The account stayed exactly as it was. Eventually I noticed something else. The friend request had been accepted. Not by me, by her. I stared at the notification for a long time. I never received a message. Never a comment. Nothing that could be mistaken for a glitch. Just the connection. I didn't unfriend her. I don't know why. Maybe because part of me didn't want to confirm what that would mean. Maybe because the hospital teaches you not to look too closely at certain transitions. Sometimes people pass through. Sometimes they just want to be seen one last time. And sometimes when you're tired enough and kind enough and standing in the wrong corridor at the wrong hour, you're the person they find. I still work night shifts. I still take the long routes when I'm sent to other units. And if I see someone sitting alone, crying quietly near the elevators, I always stop. But I don't ask for names anymore. And I never add anyone on social media, because I learned the hard way that some goodbyes don't feel like